This story comes from the AITAH subreddit and is titled, Not Quite In-Laws Tried to Steal My Second Car. My fiance's father's car broke down and he asked if he could borrow my SUV for a couple of days. I have 2 cars and the SUV isn't my daily driver, so no big deal. Sure, borrow the car. I knew that realistically it was going to be more than 2 days and I was initially happy to help. Fast forward to now and my in-laws have had my car for 21 days. 3 whole weeks with 0 communication despite my direct efforts to get an answer. My in-laws have barely said thank you, didn't offer any money, and I've asked for my car back 3 separate times. My father-in-law is horribly cheap and stubborn, and I love him, but he's been tinkering on his broken car at leisure while continuing to borrow mine. When I asked him directly when he expects his car will be working again and all parts installed, he was unable to provide any type of time frame and just said, he's working on it. He's uncomfortable talking about anything related to money aside from complaining at how expensive everything is, so I tried not to push the issue because I wanted to respect his boundaries. Today, I had my fiance tell his parents they need to give me my car back. It's no longer a choice. I want my car back. I need to use it tomorrow. Although it's not my daily driver, it's still my car and I have it for a reason. It's completely beyond my level of comprehension why I would need to explain to anyone that I would need my own property back because I have a task that I'm unable to achieve without it. In the kindest way possible, I'm the only person in this situation that owns 2 cars, and it's starting to feel like I'm being disrespected because they don't feel like I need it or that it's not putting me out when it is. The whole thing makes me wildly uncomfortable, and I'm low-key worried they trashed my car because we have completely different standards of living. In all of this, my fiance, their son, also has his own car, so it's like, dude, go borrow your son's car for a bit. For context, we live in the US and my fiance is the highest paid person in his immediate family and he is the youngest child. We live in a high cost of living area and are broke AF. His parents are 65 and I'm 34. Everyone works full time. Am I the astronaut for wanting my car back so I can go pick up my dog? These people are making me feel crazy. We have an update. There is an update here. So what are your thoughts on that? To this point.
To this point, I would be repoing my own car. I mean, we can ask, and then when the asking goes away, you just make it happen. So we're just making it happen. The car is coming home with me.
I have a fear that OP's partner in this situation is receiving some communication, but not clearly passing that along, or trying to act as the buffer.
That could be very true. I mean, we at least try for like the last clear message of,
yes,
hey, this is by this time, this day here, figure the rest out on your own.
Yeah.
But I'd still repo my own car.
Do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, you got to do it. I mean, that's my car.
But I think there's got to be, I think the one thing that I'm not hearing a lot of in this story so far is like really clear communication between these partners, because it would be, I feel like it's her husband's parents. I feel like there's a responsibility on husband here to communicate those things and to communicate the severity of the situation and be like, hey, knock the crap out. Like, we're coming to get this car now. But it doesn't seem like that's happening. It seems like OP is having to take lead and run point on that communication right now. And that feels weird.
You're probably right. And I think that's not my default, because like, that's not the world we live in, of you communicate with your partner about the things. So that lack of communication wasn't a default thought. I just assumed that those kinds of things would be conveyed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what would happen in our world.
Yeah. Yeah. But it seems like, well, if OP is having to make the communication directly to his parents, to her partner's parents, there's a bridge that's missing in there, right?
Yeah, we need to build a better bridge.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the update will clarify some things.
Let's see what the update says.
Yeah. All right, we'll dive into that.
Do it, Doug.
Thanks so much, brother.
Oh, yes.
Happy birthday. Okay, we're going to dive into the update here and see where it's going. Update, I got my car back today and my in-laws were incredibly apologetic. There's a plot twist. I didn't have to steal my car back or call the cops, but my fiance demanded I get my vehicle back, and now I better understand everything that happened. Okay, the fiance demanded. Okay. Fiance agrees that if the need presents itself again, it's up to him to be more accommodating to his folks. And I've learned a new boundary for myself. It's a win-win. I accept some level of responsibility for not putting my foot down sooner and being too nice to people taking advantage of that. Thank you to everyone that's helped me navigate the situation. And thank you for letting me know I'm not an a-hole or a crazy person. Okay. So it resolved itself. I still don't feel like we have a ton of clarification there in what happened with the communication flow here between the partner, except saying that my fiance demanded I get my vehicle back. Probably two parents, and it took to this point for that to happen. So if that's where fiance finally stepped in and was like, okay, no, this has to be resolved now because it's horseshit. It took way too long, and that's one of the problems that I have here is that I think in these kind of situations, forcing your partner to communicate directly with your parents about a conflict without jumping in immediately and trying to facilitate that for them or mediate or do something seems like a big load of horseshit to me. And I may be reading too far into this, but because his involvement isn't directly stated until the very end here, I feel like he dropped the ball on that. And yes, they took advantage of the whole situation, but it was probably one of those, well, until somebody forces us to do it, we're going to do it kind of things. And they did it and ran it in the ground. So hopefully that's clearer now. She says she's developed a new boundary for herself. He finally stepped in, so he understands that pain better and says, if something like this happens again, he's going to be the one that jumps in and facilitates. So it sounds like everybody's learned a lesson. The initial question of am I the astronaut not quite in-laws tried to steal my second car, and the question was basically, am I the astronaut for wanting my car back so I can go pick up my dog? Hell no. This you're 34. How long have you been together? We don't really get into that a lot. How long this relationship has been going on. And I guess it takes getting into some uncomfortable situations for solutions to be needed and to be present about communication flow. Some people are just bad at communicating, especially with family. So maybe they just never encountered anything like this before and never had a need to establish the flow of communication, but now they have it. Now they've learned the lesson, and hopefully nothing like this ever happens again. But if it does, they have at least a better plan of how to fix it.